Is it worth it? Is it worth going through this anguish every week?
Now, English football has undergone some major changes in the last few years, whether that be VAR in the Premier League, the new handball rule, pay-per-view matches, Aston Villa being good now. The English game, the beautiful game itself, has changed somewhat in the last decade, and a lot of it has caused quite a lot of division. Is the game officially gone? Where has it gone? Why has it not been announced as missing yet when it's been well over 24 hours? Is this a failing of the Metropolitan Police? It's a simple question, really. Is English football, as we know it, about to die? Now, I know what you're thinking. Niran, is that not a little bit over-dramatic? Listen, I know, I'm a Liverpool fan. Liverpool have been shafted by VAR against Everton. It sounds like it's a very salty video. I'm not just going to talk about that. I'll be talking about pay-per-view matches, Project Bigger Picture, or whatever it was called, that are all coming together to, in my opinion, maybe make the game a little bit less enjoyable, or have the potential to. I will be the first person to tell you that we have got lucky with VAR decisions in our history, namely against Wolves. I don't know why it always seems to be against Wolves. So me making this video solely off the back of us getting a bad rap against Everton in the Merseyside derby would be hypocritical. I was even a massive fan, actually, of VAR straight off the bat. I love the idea that it could maybe get rid of a lot of the debatable decisions from referees per game. But this season, the decisions have been ridiculous. Whether it's Eric Dyer's handball against Newcastle, Lindelof's handball for Manchester United against Palace and the subsequent penalty retaking, the list goes on, alright? But listen, fam, let's go from the start though. I'll paint you the picture. Everton versus Liverpool, Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. So for a start, you know the game's probably going to end 0-0. But would you believe it, inside 3 minutes, Sadio Mane gives us the lead. Assist by Andy Robertson. Didn't have him in my fantasy team, but we moved. A few minutes later, a ball swung in. Virgil van Dijk is deemed to be offside, but Jordan Pickford, whilst coming out to block something, basically scissor kicks Van Dijk and does his knee in. Realistically, it's a red card, alright? If this happens anywhere else on the pitch, this man is getting a 47 game ban, alright? It's an awful challenge. It puts Van Dijk's leg, knee, and therefore the mental health of all Liverpool fans in danger. But because he was offside, it doesn't matter. So because there was foul, dangerous play, because the guy who was on the receiving end was offside, we should just forget about it. So if I double foot reverse 720-degree roundhouse bicycle kick someone, but they were offside, just calm. New tactic from free kicks. If everybody just stands offside when the ball's floated in, they can then just beat up the opposition. Just look at this though. Look at this challenge. It's a hospital tackle. I've actually genuinely seen better in 24 hours in A&E. And if it wasn't bad enough for Big Verge, this was his POV whilst he was on the floor.
Oh, Muppets on Facebook thinking you're bad, mate. I lined every last one of your birds up and bomb them one by one.
Listen, I know Jordan Pickford hasn't meant to scissor kick the guy, but it's clear dangerous play. How is this not a red? I don't understand. What I will say, though, is I don't want to, I know this isn't really about the game. This is about football as a whole. But Everton were very good. Showed a lot of character to come back from 1-0 down and then 2-1 down, to come back twice. Shows a lot of character, more than they've really ever had before. Let's be real. So Ancelotti's got them playing well. They missed a sitter with Calvert-Lewin. Richarlison hit the post. If you take away VAR, I think actually the result would have been fair. But especially when we then get into the 90th minute of the game, Thiago fires a ball into Sadio Mane, who cuts it back for Jordan Henderson to sweep home. Everyone's going crazy. It's the 92nd minute, and then it goes to VAR, and this is deemed as offside. Now, don't get me wrong, alright? Don't compare the TV screen with the VAR screen. They're not the same technology. What you see on your TV is not what they're seeing in the VAR room. But let's be real, I've actually had enough of seeing a checkerboard come out every single time there's a decision on anything. It's not Sadio's fault that his hairline was offside, alright? Furthermore, it's sport. It's not science. I'm not trying to do A-level mathematics again. I'm just trying to watch my favourite football team, not read take year 13. Specsavers were on hand to get involved in the social media action. For me, I grew up in an era where the attacker gets the benefit of the doubt, where being level with the defender actually existed, because it doesn't anymore. So it's really difficult for me to say that he is off, because I guess scientifically he is, whether it be by 0.5 nanometers or not. But for me, right, I celebrated this goal. 2 seconds, I would say, I was like up in the air, punching all of the air, physically bruising oxygen. But after about 2 seconds, I suddenly realized, oh what if this is offside? What if there was a foul in the build-up? And ultimately, I was right. He was offside, but I've started doing that with every single goal that goes in. Even Salah's goal, which you could quite clearly tell was never going to be offside or anything. I'm now trained to fear disappointment before I get elated for the goal happening. It's just frustrating because ultimately Sadio Mane is offside here by the circumference of a skin cell. He's wafted carbon dioxide into an offside position. And it's not just me. To be honest with you, I think I can comfortably say that Liverpool fans are probably some of the most hated in the land. I think even opposition fans were like, okay, let's just hold on. And pundits alike as well. Ian Wright.
Look at my lips, you're ruining it.
Jamie Carragher, quite predictably, wasn't a massive fan of the situation. Even Gary Neville, in the instance of Pickford's challenge, thought he should have been sent off, whether the guy was offside or not. On BT Sports, they had an actual referee come on and talk about it, and he said it was completely irrelevant. The foul is the foul. You can't just get away with anything because the referee has called for something. If I come and punch you in the face, but someone's given a foul somewhere else, you can't just sweep that under the carpet. I'm getting a red card. Probably wasn't that much of a heavy punch, to be honest. I'm more of like a bantamweight than a heavyweight anyway. Not everyone, however, was enthralled by the action. Our backup goalkeeper, Kalea, was... My overall opinion on VAR hasn't really changed, to be honest with you, since its inception in our league. I still think it's a positive thing when used correctly. But it's not being used correctly, and the laws around it are stupid. The handball rule, for example, that's been catching defenders out left, right, and centre when it's grazing their arm, even though they're facing the wrong way, is ridiculous. But VAR itself, if it was actually used to rectify actual clear and obvious things, would be brilliant. But as it stands, it's just one referee in a room subjectively telling another referee what to do. That's not actually technology. That's just a second ref in another room, fam. Liverpool getting shafted by Everton is not the main reason this video is happening. This has been coming for a while. I think this season overall has had a lot of mad stuff happen. Corona has affected a lot of different things, but on top of that, we've got Project Big Picture, and it outlines the potential for some scary restructuring of the Premier League and also the Football League in England. It's in the form of an idea put together by both Liverpool and Manchester United, proposing 18 teams in the Premier League instead of 20, which would see 2 teams automatically relegated, and then whoever finishes in 16th place entered into the playoffs with 3rd, 4th, and 5th from the Championship. It would also see the end of the Community Shield and the EFL or Carabao Cup. So I guess that's the end of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. Listen, he had a good innings. It puts a cap on the cost of away tickets. It also features a £250 million bailout for Football League clubs because of Corona and how much they're losing because of the ongoing pandemic, as well as a better way of distributing TV rights, which would actually see Championship clubs get more than the current parachute payments than they receive when they're relegated from the Prem. So that all sounds actually really good. There's a lot of good things there. However, it's not really all as it seems, because it also features a change to Premier League voting rules to prioritise the top 9, or the 9 longest serving members of the Premier League at this point in time. And only 6 of those 9 have to agree on something, whereas at the moment it's 14 out of all of the 20 clubs which get an equal share and vote on anything. And that includes potentially vetoing new owners. So for example, if the Saudi-backed organisation that tried to take over Newcastle came back in for them under this current rule, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs could say, you know what, nah, I'm actually good. We don't really want another team challenging for the Champions League. We'd rather just us 6 do this from here, okay? You guys just chill down there at the bottom, okay? It's the rich staying rich and the poor staying poor, but in Premier League terms, which is obviously mad dangerous, and it's the vintage will give you some short-term gain, for some long-term pain. They're coming in saying, oh, it's fine, guys, don't worry about it. We'll bail out all the teams in the Football League because, you know, they might die without us. But in return for that, we want all of the power and want to make it more difficult for Championship clubs to stay in the Premier League. Thankfully, the Premier League has voted against what is quite a clear power grab, but you never know, we could still get something similar to this in the future. The FA and the Football League, I'm sure, are getting to a pretty desperate and dangerous situation now, where at least half of the clubs from like League One downwards are probably struggling to stay afloat. So if this is still on the table in, say, 6 months and no other resolution has been found, you could see something that resembles the death of the Premier League in the sense that the top 6 they'll just power away from everyone like it is in La Liga. We love the Premier League because it's so unpredictable, and that would be gone completely in my eyes with this. And continuing with the money grabbing vibe, we've got the new changes to the television situation for the Premier League right now, which is seeing half of games each week end up on box office for £14.95 specifically. So not only do you have to pay a subscription for TV rights, you know, you've got to pay for Sky each month. If you want to watch a specific game, you've now got to pay an extra 15 quid just to watch it. Now, a couple people came out and said, yeah, but you pay 30, 40 quid to go watch a football game. Yeah, I'm paying 30, 40 quid to go watch a football game at the football game, big man. I'm not paying 30, 40 quid to watch the game on TV. Are you mad? I realise this could just be a short-term fix for the lack of ticket sales for Premier League clubs at the moment, given Corona. Because, for example, a team like Burnley are probably a side that relies quite heavily on ticket sales and all that sort of stuff. And as it stands, they're not getting any of that. They're not selling season tickets because there's no crowds allowed at games. So this could be a way to shovel money that's like half the price of an actual ticket over to the clubs when they're on box office. But it just sets a really dangerous precedent going forward, because if we do, you know, eventually go back to watching games at stadiums and Sky and BT are like, you know what, Bunny, we might just carry on doing box office every now and again. Imagine we get to a point eventually where you've got to pay for every single game individually. And the cheek of the games that they're putting on box office, Fulham versus Sheffield United, 19th v 20th in the league for £15. I would rather watch it on a streaming website and have to click through 67 individual XXX adverts. I'm sorry, I'm just refusing to spend the value of 5 Tesco meal deals on Burnley versus West Bromwich Albion. So there's that, there's Project Big Picture or whatever spin-off we may well see in the coming months. There's the new handball law and all sorts of other rules and regulations that have changed in football over the last few years. There's the, in my eyes, misuse of VAR, and altogether it's coming together to create something that just isn't as good football-wise or spectacle-wise as it was before. Equally, you'd see the heights of Brighton versus Manchester United and the drama of Neil Maupay giving away a penalty after the game had even finished. There's certain decisions that have gone correctly that otherwise would have been massive injustices and cost teams a lot of money in, say, the Champions League or in the race for promotion in the Championship. But one thing that will always be very important, I think, to football is the emotion. And in the eyes of a football fan who genuinely has to second guess every time he can celebrate a goal, I think you're going to start sanitizing that and taking it away. But leave your comments and opinions down below in the comment section. I'm not saying that football's going to get outlawed in 5 years and no one will ever play it beyond 2030. I'm saying as we know it and as we enjoy it, is football less so than it was before? Let me know down below. If you've enjoyed this video, slap a like on it, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. 9 likes on this video and I will officiate the next game on box office from the VAR room itself. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.